Why should we care about food waste?
58% of all food produced for Canadians is lost or wasted.
58%.
We've just grown to accept it.
The average Canadian home wastes 140 kilograms of food a year, and that is crazy.
We waste more food than we actually consume.
If international food waste were a country, it'd be the third leading cause of greenhouse gas emission behind the US and China.
So why should we care about food waste? Because we care about the environment. We've lost the intrinsic value of food in this country. Food is supposed to nourish us, and we look at it as a commodity and a convenience. And so we take it for granted.
Meet Laurie Nicol, the fearless leader of Canada's largest food rescue organisation, Second Harvest. Before she came along, no one on the planet had ever commissioned a legit study into food waste. Her and her team are on the ground every day fighting hunger, seeing the actual effects of wasted food, and a few years ago, something wasn't feeling quite right.
We realized, hey, we really don't have a handle on how much food loss and waste there is in Canada. And so if we can create a standardized measurement system for all industry to use, all government to use, for everyone to use, then we'll have a better understanding of where we can really attack this problem. We hired Value Chain Management International to help us better understand the amount of food that is lost and wasted in Canada.
This study was the first of its type in the world. A group of researchers had actually gone out into the field to gather primary data to use in the estimation of food loss and waste. We were surprised by the volume. We were also surprised by the causes.
You don't know how to get to somewhere unless you know where you're starting. And so this roadmap showed us where to start. Often what we had heard is consumer, consumer, consumer. It's all happening in your home. And because at Second Harvest, we collect food from across the supply chain, we knew that that was not the case. It's really happening much further up the supply chain, at farms and processors and manufacturers.
Bruce Taylor of the Enviro-Stewards understands the value of food better than anyone on the planet. Some folks call him the David Suzuki of food waste, in that he's an incredible educator who's also doing the work on the ground. He's maybe more obsessed with dumpsters than the average person, but that's what we love about him.
Almost all the approaches are, how do we destroy this food more efficiently? With a compost or a digester, you lose all that value. Even if you divert 100% from landfill, you still lose almost all the economic, all the social, all the environmental. The only way to not do that is to prevent the loss in the first place. And so we've proven that it can actually be accomplished. We went into 50 factories in a row, and we found $240,000 per factory per year of food that didn't have to be wasted. For perspective, if you put a grocery bag beside the CN Tower, another one, you'd get to London before you ran out of grocery bags. Maple Leaf Foods is the first large food company in the world to be carbon neutral. One of the nice things about it is it then shows, like, there's so many companies now saying, oh, we're going to be carbon neutral by 2030 and 2040, and how are we actually going to do it? It's really nice to have somebody, hey, we're already there. So it's possible. So once you have some people showing that it's possible, then it makes it easier for the rest. In Maple Leaf's case, they actually had us go into all their facilities across Canada and find practical, affordable ways to reduce the loss in the first place. I guess what we find is a lot of people think that their dumpster is their cheapest bill in their factory. You know, they haul it away pretty cheap. How much did it cost you to buy what's in that dumpster? What was it worth just before you lost it? A better way to look at it is, this is food. How do we prevent it from being lost in the first place?
There is a movement happening, and there is a global movement about food waste. Nobody spoke about food waste 5 years ago. Like, because of this, then we're having this kind of emerging new consumers are looking for purpose-driven companies.
Our systems in the past are not going to work for the future. With every problem, there is always a solution.